ito, tapat sa aming serbisyo. Walang problemang di malagpasan. Magliliwanag ang ating kinabukasan. Dance Radio, silid-aralan sa radyo. Hatid namin makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo. Kahit saan at kahit kailan, hindi ka iiwanan. Hatid namin bagong kaalaman. Edukasyo'y susulong, basta't magtulong-tulong. Sulong edukalidad. Dance Radio, learning is amazing.
Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kaalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan, ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
For something big. Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWDR-FM. Physics, Chemistry, Earth Science, Biology, Biochemistry, Environmental Science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is the way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity and how the world develops and works today. Science. This is your class, and this is science. And now, here is your host for the day.
Ayan, good afternoon. Good afternoon po sa ating lahat. Hello po. Hello there, grade 8 learners of Doña Aurora National High School and to all students who are listening right now with their parents. So hello din po sa inyo, aming mga minamahal na magulang. Hello po, maligayang pakikinig. Again, welcome sa ating programa, Scientific Time. Diba, Sir Ryan? So we also would like to greet our dance family headed by Dr. Rodrigo V. Pascua, Chief Education Supervisor and Officer in Charge. Also, Ma'am Ruby R. Guillermo. And to all head teachers and teachers, faculty and staff, good afternoon po sa ating lahat. So, our dear learners, our dear grade 8 learners, we are now on our third week of shift 1. So, for today's topic, without further ado, for today's topic, we will be discussing all about heat and temperature and the effects of heat. So, let me introduce to you, our dear learners, ang mga learning facilitators for today's live stream discussion. So mamaya after ng ating radio-based instruction. So we have with us Teacher Rosel G. Santiago and Teacher Ryan A. Colcol and yours truly, Teacher Rio Faye B. Magaway. So Ma'am Rosel, hello there.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon.
For today's topic.
Okay, yes, Ma'am Rio. Good afternoon sa lahat ng ating listeners, to our head teachers, to the school heads, and to our listeners and parents. So this is our learning objectives for today. First is to differentiate heat and temperature. Second is to understand the 3 temperature scales. And third is to explain thermal expansion and the effects of change in temperature. So we will be learning these three objectives for today.
So yan, kumusta na kayo grade 8 learners? Siyempre, bago tayo mag-start, ay siguraduhin hawak nyo na ang inyong mga modules for the week 3, which is heat and temperature, because we will make sure that at the end of the discussion, you will learn a lot about our topic. So don't forget all
Yes, tama ka dyan, Sir Ryan.
section, and please participate whenever there may mga activities na sasagutan. Yes, Ma'am Rio?
Yes, Sir Ryan, di ba may pa-hashtag ka for today?
Oh yes, yung hashtag pala, muntik ko nang makalimutan. Thanks for pagpapaalala. So, ang hashtag natin for today is hashtag hubugin sensibilidad. So, ayun nga ma'am, let's explain yung konti sa ating hashtag. So,
Ang haba naman, sir.
So, hindi lang dapat alam ng mga bata yung concept about science, pero dapat alam nila ding itong i-apply in real life situations. Di ba, Ma'am Rio?
Yes, tama ka dyan, Sir Ryan. So, I will repeat ang ating hashtag for today. Hashtag hubugin, tama ba? And hashtag sensibilidad. Ayan, our dear grade 8 learners, paki-comment down na ang ating hashtag for today. Rosel?
Okay, Ma'am Rio and Sir Ryan. Ayan. So, what are we waiting for? Let's have now our RBI session and we'll be right back.
Dance Radio, siniharalan sa radyo, atid namin makabago, paraan ang pagtuturo.
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta't magtulong-tulong, sulong edukalidad. Dance Radio, learning is amazing.
Facts and information. Today's learning for new normal. With capable teachers whose heart and souls are defined. Deliver knowledge inside your home through radio. This is the WDR-FM 106.3 Dance Radio, a community FM radio station of Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela. This is the WDR-FM 106.3 Dance Radio, fully dedicated to serve the public in tribute to education. With the use of radio-based instructions, we are pleased to deliver the utmost aim of education through distance learning approach. With subjects like English, Science, Math, Filipino, Araling Lipunan, TLE, MATE, and ESP. This is the WDR-FM 106.3 Dance Radio is now ready to serve you right inside your home. This is the WDR-FM 106.3 Dance Radio, your school on the air. Physics, chemistry, earth science, biology, biochemistry, environmental science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is a way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity of how the world develops and works today. Science, science, science. This is your class. And this is science. And now, here is your host for the day.
Good day, our dear listeners, especially to our grade 8 learners. This is your School on the Air in Science, serving you the different skills to learn, filled with fun learning experiences. I am your radio teacher for today, Teacher Rio Faye Magaway. I know you're excited as I am, so get ready, grade 8 learners. At this moment, make sure that you're in a comfortable place and far from noise or any disturbance so that you will be able to listen to this broadcast attentively. Hello, my dear learners! Are you ready to start our lesson for today? If you are, please get yourself learning Module 6 about heat and temperature, your pen, paper, and notebook. Always remember to take down the important concepts that you will hear today. Today's lesson is about heat and temperature and the effects of heat. Heat transfer from one body to another of different temperatures. The heat we get from the sun and cooking of food are just some processes or activities that involve heat transfer. Hence, heat transfer is essential in our daily life. Heat always moves from a body of higher temperature to a lower temperature. Moreover, the conductivity of materials and temperature differences are some factors that affect the rate of heat transfer. Are heat and temperature the same? People think that heat and temperature are the same. In this module, you will learn the difference between heat and temperature. You will also learn more about heat transfer and the factors that affect the amount of heat an object can absorb or release. Have you ever experienced having a fever?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you know that you are suffering from fever? Correct! You usually touch your forehead or neck to check your body temperature. You use your sense of touch to tell whether an object is hot or cold, or one is hotter or colder than the other. When you feel you are warm, you often say you have a high temperature. When an object is cold, you often say it has a low temperature. Temperature is commonly associated with coldness or hotness of a body. How do we quantify this difference in the hotness or coldness of a body? You might have experienced your mother checking your temperature by putting a small glass tube called a thermometer in your underarm. In layman's term, temperature is a measure of hotness or coldness of an object.
Temperature, hotness or coldness of an object.
Kinetic molecular theory tells us that all matter has molecules or atoms, which are constantly moving but at different speeds and in the same direction. Temperature is a measure of the average kinetic energy of molecules. When molecules move faster, they have higher temperatures, while when molecules move slower, they have lower temperatures. You may ask, how can I determine the temperature of an object? Can I use always my senses to determine the temperature? Try this simple activity as illustrated in your module. Set up 3 glasses of water. Glass A with lukewarm water or maligamgam na tubig. Glass B with cold water. And glass C with top water. Dip your left forefinger in glass A, while the right forefinger in glass B for 40 seconds. Then quickly dip both your forefingers in glass C. What did you feel? This shows that our senses give us an inaccurate measure of hotness or coldness of an object, making them not reliable indicators of temperature. What do we need to measure temperature? That's right! We need a thermometer to measure temperature. A thermometer is a sealed glass tube containing mercury and with an imprinted temperature scale. The mercury expands or contracts, causing it to move up or down when there are changes in the temperature.
Thermometer measures temperature.
Science Trivia. Science Trivia. Science Trivia.
Did you know Grand Duke of Tuscany Ferdinand II invented the most common type of thermometer? The liquid in glass thermometer.
Science Trivia. Science Trivia. Science Trivia.
You're listening to Teacher Rio.
Now, let us discuss what is heat. Open your module on page 9, where you can find what is heat.
Heat?
Heat is produced from molecules of matter that continuously vibrate. Heat is an energy form that transfers from a body of higher temperature to another body of lower temperature. Once heat is transferred or released, it affects the internal energy of the body. Internal energy is the total energy in a body. Thus, it includes the potential energy and the kinetic energy of the molecules or atoms in an object. How do we measure heat?
How?
Joule is the International System Unit of heat. Another common unit of heat is calorie, defined as the amount of heat needed to change the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius of 1 atmospheric pressure. Calorie is not used to avoid confusion. Calorie is not used to refer to an amount of heat. It is used by dietitians or nutritionists to specify energy content of food. Before we proceed to our discussion on temperature scales, let's have a break. I'll be back after an infomercial.
Mare, nabalitaan mo na ba na nag-o-offer ng radio-based instruction or RBI ang Doña Aurora National High School?
Ganun ba, Mare?
Ito yung bagong paraan ng pagtuturo gamit ang radio.
Kung ganon, di na ako mangangamba. Doon na ako sa Donya.
Ngayong laganap ang pandemya sa bansa, marami ang nangangamba. Edukasyon ng anak, inaalala. Huwag nang mangamba sapagkat dito sa Donya, sagot kita. Gamit ang radyo sa pagtuturo, ikaw ay di na matutuliro. Radio-based instruction ang kasangga mo sa edukasyon ng anak mo. Sapagkat sa Donya, bawat bata mahalaga.
If you have any question or concern about the lesson for this hour, you may text your subject teacher using the numbers located at your learning package. You may also send them your questions through their messenger and their email found in your learning packages as well.
It's Science Time!
You're listening to Teacher Rio.
We're back! Can you follow, my dear learners?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's continue our discussion with the 3 temperature scale. What are the 3 common temperature scales? Yes, these are Celsius, Fahrenheit, and Kelvin.
Wow!
Under Celsius introduced the Celsius scale in 1741. Daniel Fahrenheit introduced the Fahrenheit scale in 1724. And William Thomson, also known as Lord Kelvin, introduced the Kelvin scale in 1848.
Wow!
Science Trivia. Science Trivia. Science Trivia.
Why was Thomson called Lord Kelvin? His real name is William Thomson, since the Queen has knighted him the Lord Kelvin for his scientific achievement and contribution towards the transatlantic cable project. He was later known as Kelvin.
Science Trivia. Science Trivia. Science Trivia. You're listening to Teacher Rio.
We're back! Both Celsius and Fahrenheit use the freezing and boiling points of water as reference points. On the Celsius scale, the freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius, while its boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius. On the Fahrenheit scale, the freezing point of water is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, while its boiling point is 212 degrees Fahrenheit, having 180 degrees Fahrenheit intervals between 2 reference points. On the other hand, Kelvin scale is based on absolute zero, corresponding to 0 Kelvin. It is the lowest possible temperature, and it is when the molecules of the substance have the lowest energy. Kelvin scale cannot have negative temperatures. On the Kelvin scale, the freezing point of water is 273 Kelvin, while its boiling point is 373 Kelvin. The temperature difference is 100 Kelvin. Can you now give the difference between heat and temperature? How are heat and temperature different? Well, here are the important points to consider about the difference between heat and temperature. First, heat is a form of energy, while temperature is not a form of energy. Temperature is a measure of the average kinetic energy of the particles, and it does not depend on the mass of the object. It can be measured directly with the use of thermometers. Heat cannot be measured directly, but you can make use of the measurable quantities related to heat to determine how much heat is absorbed by the object. These are the changes in temperature, mass, and specific heat capacity of the object. The relation among these quantities is directly proportional. Now, we are ready to see the real-life application of heat and temperature.
Yes.
Have you ever noticed that when an ice is removed in a freezer and after some time it melts?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct! We all notice that.
Wow!
What do you think will happen when solid turns to liquid? That is what we call phase change. When the temperature of substances changes, its molecular structure and movement also change, which results to phase change. What are the phase changes? One is melting. Melting is the process that causes a solid to change to its liquid state. The amount of heat required to produce this change is called heat of fusion. An example of melting is an ice cube turning into liquid water when you set it on a surface or hold it in your hand. Can you give an example of a melting process? That's right! When butter is heated, it will melt.
Melting. Change solid to liquid.
Another phase change is solidification or freezing. It is the process of changing liquids to solids. Several examples of solidification may be found in everyday life, including freezing of water to form ice.
Freezing. Change liquid to solid.
What else? Correct! Another phase change is evaporation. Evaporation is the process where liquid turns to gas. Example is when water boils, evaporation takes place. Heat is absorbed and water is converted into steam or water vapor.
Evaporation. Change liquid to gas.
Can you name other phase transformation?
Condensation.
Precisely. Condensation. When gas state changes to the liquid state, which accounts for the formation of clouds in water cycle.
Condensation. Change gas to liquid.
In addition, sublimation is the process of transforming a substance from the solid phase directly to the gas state without passing the liquid phase and requires additional energy. Example of sublimation is dry ice.
Sublimation. Change solid directly to gas.
On the other hand, deposition is the process of transforming a substance from gas to solid without passing the liquid phase.
Deposition. Change gas directly to solid.
Moving on, what happens during these phase changes? During any of these phase changes, energy is either given off or taken in. When a substance changes its phase, the temperature does not change, and only the amount of energy changes. Have you experienced when a metal lid cover of a bottle or glass container gets stuck?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you usually do? Yes! You heat it or pour hot water over the metal lid to open the bottle or glass container. The hot water or high temperature causes the metal lid cover to expand. What do you usually do when drinking glasses stick to each other? The safe way of separating them is pouring cold water in the inner glass and dip the outer glass in hot water. Why? This is because substances expand when heated and contract when cooled, making it easier for the two glasses to be pulled apart. The amount of expansion and contraction depends on the kind of material. Thermal expansion happens in solid when temperature changes, causing a change in their length, width, height, area, and volume. What will happen when temperature increases? What will happen when temperature increases? Nice answer! Heating the materials causes the particles to vibrate faster, fill in more spaces, and move to empty spaces, resulting in the material to expand or increase in size. How about when temperature decreases? Very good! The particles vibrate slower and move closer to each other. Generally, materials expand when the temperature is increased or contract when the temperature is reduced. This is what happened in the mercury inside the glass tube of thermometer. When temperature increases, it rises and drops when temperature decreases. Can you cite an example where thermal expansion occurs? I'll be right back after an infomercial.
Buboy, pumasok ka na rito at kakain na tayo. Itigil mo na yung paglalaro.
Sayang, mag-home base na ako. Si Nani naman, wrong timing.
Nako, kapag tayo po ay uubo o babahing, mangyaring takpan ng ating ilong o bibig ng siko o tissue upang maiwasan ang pagkalat ng virus. Sinigang para sa tanghalian.
Amoy pa lang, panalo.
Wait! Ugaliin po natin ang puspusang paglilinis ng kamay gamit ang sabon, hand sanitizer at alcohol. Patuloy pa rin ang banta ng COVID-19 kaya tayo ay maging responsableng mamamayan. Sa kaligtasan ng bayan, disiplina ang kailangan. Stay home, save life.
Isang paalala mula sa himpilang ito.
If you have any question or concern about the lesson for this hour, you may text your subject teacher using the numbers located at your learning package. You may also send them your questions through their messenger and their email found in your learning packages as well.
It's Science Time!
You're listening to Teacher Rio.
I'm back! Did you know that thermal expansion can also happen in fluids?
Aha!
What are fluids? Fluids? Any substance that flows is considered as fluids. This includes such things as water, shampoo, and even honey. Even gases such as air can be classified as fluids. Molecules of fluids vibrate faster, tend to move farther away from each other, and attract weakly to each other when there is increase or decrease in the temperature, causes the volume of the fluids to change. This concept of expansion and contraction in fluid is not applicable to water. This is why whether it increased or reduced from 4 degrees Celsius, water expands.
Wow, it's amazing.
Water is denser at 4 degrees Celsius. The mass of the material is constant when it expands. Its volume increases and it becomes less dense. When cooled, the mass also remains constant, but the volume of the material reduces and it becomes denser. This time, let's talk about heat capacity. What is heat capacity?
Heat capacity?
The heat capacity of a body is the quantity of heat necessary to raise its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. Substances with high heat capacities cool down slowly because they have to give off more heat, and they also heat up slowly because they have to absorb more heat. Substances with a low heat capacity heat up quickly and they lose their heat quickly. For example, you are stirring a pot of soup on a stove using a metal spoon. If you leave the spoon on the pot, the spoon will be hot enough and may burn your hand while the soup will feel warm. This is because the metal spoon has a lower heat capacity than the soup. What is specific heat? Specific heat is the amount of heat necessary to raise the temperature of 1 gram of substance by 1 degree Celsius. Turn your module on page 11 and look at the specific heat of some substances. Now, we're done with the lesson. To check your understanding, open your module on page 12, Activity 1. Heat and temperature. All you have to do is to complete each statement using a term or terms from the list. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Are you ready? Let's start! For number 1, heat and temperature are related but they are not the same. Heat depends on blank and also on the number of molecules that vibrate. I repeat, heat and temperature are related but they are not the same. Heat depends on blank and also on the number of molecules that vibrate. Number 3. More vibrating molecules usually mean blank. I repeat, more vibrating molecules usually mean blank. Number 4. Fewer vibrating molecules usually mean blank. I repeat. Fewer vibrating molecules usually mean blank. Number 5. Faster vibrating molecules mean blank. I repeat. Faster vibrating molecules mean blank. Number 6. Slower vibrating molecules mean blank. I repeat, slower vibrating molecules mean blank. Number 7. Heat is measured in units called blank and calories. I repeat, heat is measured in units called blank and calories. Number 11. Temperature is measured in units called Celsius, Fahrenheit, and blank. I repeat, temperature is measured in units called Celsius, Fahrenheit, and blank. And for number 12, when water is heated, it blank. I repeat, when water is heated, it blank. Let's check whether you have done it right. Check your own paper, but be reminded of the rule. Honesty is the best policy.
Yes, ma'am.
Answer in number 1 is how fast molecules vibrate.
Yay!
The correct answer in number 3 is more internal energy.
Yes, 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 yes.
How about in number 4? Correct! Less internal energy.
Yes!
Number 5 is higher temperature.
Yay!
Number 6, the answer is lower temperature.
Yes!
Number 7, joules. For number 11, it's Kelvin.
Yes!
And lastly, number 12, the correct answer is exponds. Congratulations to those who got 12. That's the perfect score. Those who got low, do better next time. Just continue doing your best.
Yes, ma'am.
To test further your understanding of the lesson, turn your module on page 17 and accomplish the task, What I Have Learned. Complete the crossword puzzle. You may also answer the additional activities which can be found in your module on page 21 for you to master the lesson. You may accomplish these activities at your convenient time after our episode. For now, let's call it a day. We are done with another lesson. This is your radio teacher, Teacher Ryufei Magawai, saying stay home and follow all health protocols for your safety. Thank you and see you next episode.
Learn about our topic, send them to this number 0977 158 2802. Again, 0977 158 2802. Or email us at 19hectorderosario@gmail.com. I would like to acknowledge the teachers behind this School on the Air lesson. Teacher Ryufei Magawai, your radio teacher on the air.
The script writers, teachers Erlinda S. Ramos, and teacher Rochelle Santiago. And teacher Riza Marsan, our technical specialist. I'm your radio host, teacher Dennis Mendoza, saying thank you very much. Stay tuned for the next subject.
Dance Radio, siniparalan sa radyo, atid namin makabago, paraan ang pagtuturo.
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta na magtulong-tulong, sulong edukalidad. Dance Radio, learning is amazing.
Ayan, inyong ang napakinggan ang isa na namang RBI with the topic heat and temperature. Hello there, Ma'am Rio and Sir Ryan. How are you?
Okay, ayan nga Ma'am Rosel. So ang dami ngang natutunan ng ating mga grade 8 learners ngayon, lalo na kung nakinig sila sa ating RBI kanina. Yes, Ma'am Rio? So akin lang palang ulitin, ang ating hashtag for the day is hashtag sensyabilidad. Okay, yan ang
Yes,
ating
so i-comment ninyo yan sa ating comment section. At the same time, please include your section also. Okay, so before we start, Ma'am and Sir, ulitin lang natin yung ating learning objectives for today. Can you please flash, Ma'am Riza, our learning objectives? Ayan, so for today, we're going to differentiate heat and temperature. We're going to understand the 3 temperature scales and explain thermal expansion and the effects of change in temperature. So yan po ang ating pag-aaralan for today. So the discussion ay may 3 parts. So the first part is yung heat and temperature. Sa second part, ako po ang magdi-discuss doon. The second part will be the conversion of the temperature scales by Sir Ryan. And the last part, that the effects of heat, will be discussed by Ma'am Rio. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so let's begin this lesson by differentiating temperature and heat. Ayan. So unahin muna natin, ano nga ba ang temperature? What is temperature? Okay, pa-next po tayo. Yan, sige pa. So yan, so kapag sinabi nga nating temperature, it is the measure of the degree of hotness or coldness of an object. So always remember na kapag temperature, ang mini-measure niya hindi lang yung hotness of an object, but at the same time, also the coldness of an object. Meaning to say, no matter what the temperature is, under po siya dyan sa temperature. And it also measures the average kinetic energy of the particles in an object. So dito sa temperature, we're going to have a quantitative measure of coldness or hotness of the body. At kapag sinabi naman nating average kinetic energy, let's all take note na kapag mas mataas ang kinetic energy, ano ang mangyayari sa temperature, sir? Pag mataas ang kinetic energy niyo.
Ano
What will happen to it? Okay, so kapag mataas yung kinetic energy, what will happen to its temperature?
O syempre ma'am, tataas din yung kanyang temperature. Mas mainit din siya, syempre.
Yes, very good. Wow, very good, sir. Kasi 'di ba, sabi nga natin, kapag mataas na yung temperature, nagmo-move na yung particles in random direction. That is why the kinetic energy will also be higher. At kabaliktaran naman nun, kapag lower ang kinetic energy, ano naman ang mangyayari sa ating temperature, sir?
Syempre ma'am, mas magiging mababa yung ating temperature na masusukat.
Yes, kasi yung movement ng ating mga particles ay mas mabagal. That is why lower kinetic energy. Okay, next po. Ayan, so let's always remember that increasing heat is from solid to gas. Ang perfect example ng nasa screen ngayon na nakikita ninyo is water. Diba yung water, kapag frozen siya or masyadong malamig or mababa yung temperature, nasa ang state po siya, sir?
Yes, syempre ma'am, nasa solid siya kasi nga yung ice.
Yes, that's right. So, solid. Ngayon, kapag nag-release na siya or nag-gain na siya ng heat, it turns to liquid. At kapag mas nag-increase pa yung heat niya, it will now turn to gas. So that is how heat increases from solid phase to gaseous state. Okay. So what are we going to use when measuring temperature? So we have here thermometer. So that is the instrument used to measure temperature. So we have here sa inyong screen, yung nasa taas, yan po ay tinatawag nating mercury thermometer. At yung nasa baba, yan naman yung widely used ngayon, yan yung digital thermometer. So ano nga ba yung disadvantage? Bakit from mercury thermometer, nag-switch tayo into digital thermometer? What do you think is the reason, Sir Ryan?
Yes, ma'am. Kasi nga, ma'am, kaya nag-shift tayo from digital thermometer ay napakadelikado sa health ng mga bata, syempre, or kahit sinong tao, ang mercury. So, pwede kasing mabasag since nasa glass or ang thermometer kasi, yung mercury thermometer is nasa glass. Pag nabasag, pwede nating malanghap na magkakos ng damage to the brain, syempre. Kaya nag-shift tayo sa digital thermometer.
Yes, sir. Very good. So, ang mercury, even the vapor, can produce harmful effects on the nervous, digestive, and immune system. That is why we are now using the digital thermometer, which is easier and safer to use. So, that is all about temperature. Now, let's go na ano nga ba yung mga different temperature scales naman? Okay, so the next slide will tell us what are the different temperature scales. So we have Celsius, degree Celsius, degree Fahrenheit, and Kelvin. So later on, Sir Ryan will discuss more about these three temperature scales. But let us all remember that Kelvin is the SI unit of temperature. Okay, next. Ngayon naman, ano naman ang heat? So, sabi natin kanina, sa temperature, it measures hotness and coldness of the body. Ngayon naman, ang heat, when we say heat, it is a form of energy. Heat is actually a thermal energy that transfer from one object to another. So, kanina ba yung temperature, is that a form of energy? Sir? Energy ba ang temperature kanina?
I know, ma'am. Kasi ang temperature is the degrees of hotness or coldness ng isang bagay. So, therefore, hindi energy ang temperature.
Yes, definitely. So, ngayon makikita natin agad-agad, no, yung pagkakaiba ng temperature and heat. So when we say temperature, it is not a form of energy, while heat is a form of energy, a thermal energy to be exact. So heat also measure of the change of the internal energy of a body. Okay, proceed tayo sa next. So kapag sinabi nating internal energy, yun yung total amount of all the energy present in an object. Yan. Okay, next tayo. So kanina, ang mga temperature scales ay Fahrenheit, Celsius, and Kelvin. So this time, for heat, we have Joule. Joule is the SI unit of heat. And another common unit of heat is also calorie. So ang calorie naman, it is defined as the amount needed to change the temperature of water by 1 degree Celsius to a pressure of 1 atmospheric pressure. So dyan nakikita nyo na mga learners kung ano yung pagkakaiba ng temperature at heat. So kanina sa temperature, ano yung SI unit natin? Sir Ryan? Sa temperature, ano na yung SI unit natin kanina?
SI unit natin for temperature is yung Kelvin.
Yes, while in heat, our SI unit is
Joule.
Joule. Okay, that's right. Ayan, so calorie also is another unit of heat. Sa next time. Okay, always remember learners that heat always flow from hotter objects to objects with lower temperature. Ibig sabihin, kapag pinagsama natin yung a glass full of cold water and a glass full of warm water, ang pag-flow lagi ng heat is from hotter object. So, ibig sabihin, from warmer to a colder water. So, that is how heat flows. Okay, ano naman ang nangyayari kapag ang object ay nainitan? So when an object is heated, energy is given to the object. And of course, sabi nga natin kanina, the higher the temperature, molecules will now gain kinetic energy and move greater speed. Mas mabilis na yung pag-move ng particles kapag ang object ay being heated. And when an object gives off heat, the internal energy and temperature, of course, decreases. Okay, yan. So meron tayong katanungan dito. So mag-ready nga yung mga learners natin. Please comment down below ano yung answer ninyo. So we have here an illustration. Compare a giant iceberg to a cup of coffee. So which has a higher temperature? Is it the iceberg or the cup of coffee? Pakitignan naman sa ating comment section, Sir Ryan, kung ano ang masasabi ng ating mga learners. Okay, so ang correct answer ay ano? Which has higher temperature? Sir Ryan?
Yes, ma'am. Mas mainit yung a cup of tea. Yes, a cup of coffee pala.
Yes, tama ka dyan. And since a cup of coffee has a higher temperature, it has more internal energy also compared to a giant iceberg. So kahit gaano pa kalaki yung object, kung ito ay mas malamig, mas mababa naman ang kanyang internal energy. Okay, now let's summarize the difference of temperature and heat. Okay, next tayo. Let's summarize. Ayan, so for heat is a form of energy. Sabi natin kanina, it is a thermal energy, while temperature is the degree of hotness and coldness of a body. Okay, pangalawa, ang unit of measurement for heat is joule, while the unit of measurement for temperature is Kelvin, Celsius, or Fahrenheit. And the property of heat, it always flow from a hot area to a cold area. Ang temperature naman, it increases when heated and decreases when cold. So yan, mga learners, sana ay naintindihan ninyo na ang heat and temperature ay dalawang magkaibang bagay. Okay, so let's always remember heat is energy, is a form of energy, and temperature is the degree of hotness and coldness of a body. Okay, to elaborate more about the unit, about the temperature scales, let us welcome Sir Ryan.
Alright, so there you have it, grade 8 learners. You already learned about the difference between heat and temperature. So this time naman, we will be learning about the three systems for measuring temperature. Next slide tayo, ma'am. Alright, so first, I want to introduce to you the three units na ginagamit in measuring temperature. So first, we have the Fahrenheit. And degrees Celsius and plus Kelvin. Okay, so ito yung ginagamit natin in measuring or in three units na ginagamit ng temperature. And these three units are introduced by our scientists. We have first Gabriel Fahrenheit, we have under Celsius and Lord Kelvin. So sometimes kasi sa science, ang dami-daming mga names. So napagpapalit natin yung kanilang mga distribution. But don't worry, learners, kasi dito sa temperature scale, sir, yung mga units natin ay pinangalan sa ating mga contributor or yung mga nag-introduce. Alright? So first, next slide, ma'am. We have under Celsius, who introduced the Celsius scale in 1741, and Daniel Gabriel Fahrenheit, who introduced the Fahrenheit scale in 1724. So unahin na natin itong degrees Fahrenheit and Celsius. So ano nga ba yung pagkakaparehas nila? Alright, so grade 8 learners, don't forget that the units, which is the degrees Celsius and degrees Fahrenheit, are based on the reference points of water, which is the freezing point. So on the Celsius scale, the freezing point of water is at 0 degrees. And so when we get it's yung difference ng dalawa, so makukuha natin yung interval na 100 at 1 atmosphere pressure. So while in Fahrenheit, the point of water is at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and while its boiling point ay umaabot naman ng 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So meron na 180. So let's proceed naman sa pangatlong temperature scale. Alright, so yung pangatlo is si William Thomson, also known as Lord Kelvin, na nag-introduce ng third temperature scale, which is called Kelvin. So hindi Thomson scale. Yung which is Kelvin. Right, so next month. Alright, so sa Kelvin scale naman, always remember that the lowest possible temperature when the molecules of the substance have the lowest entropy, ito yung Kelvin. Okay, so ano naman yung boiling point and freezing point of water pagdating sa Kelvin? So on Kelvin scale, the freezing point of water starts at 273 Kelvin. So paano naman pagbababa sa 273? So ibig sabihin, walang negative na Kelvin. Pwede lang bumaba yung value from 273 magiging 250 to 240. So tatandaan nyo na wala siyang negative. Okay? So yung boiling point naman ng water at Kelvin is umaabot ng 373 Kelvin. Okay? So if we get their difference also, we will get a 100 degrees intervals. Okay, next slide. And because of that, we will notice that 1 Kelvin, because of that interval, 1 Kelvin is equal to 1 degree. So this time, let's have the comparison of the 3 units or the temperature scale. So tatandaan natin, ang Fahrenheit at Celsius ay different quantity. So sa Fahrenheit kasi, ang boiling point ng water ay 212. Kaya sa Celsius, nasa 100 degrees Celsius, naman 372.50. So sa freezing point naman nila, sa Fahrenheit, meron tayong 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Sa Celsius, 0 degrees, and Kelvin, 173.15. Kung makapansin natin, learners, meron tayong interval na tinatawag. Kung tatanungin niyo, sir, ma'am, para saan ba yung interval na yan? Kung magandang tanong yan. Kasi ang susunod natin gagawin, next slide, ma'am, mag-convert naman tayo ng one scale to another scale. So you will be given this formula in converting one temperature scale to another.
Okay, yes sir. Ayan, so let's give our learners at least one example in calculating this temperature scales.
So, yung problem, yung first example natin is we need to convert the Celsius into degrees Fahrenheit. So what is the normal human body temperature in 37 degrees Celsius in the Fahrenheit scale? So for our solution, we will be utilizing this formula na naka-flash sa screen natin. So degrees and Fahrenheit is equal to 9/5 plus 32. So kung tatanungin niyo naman, saan ba nanggaling yung 9/5 na yan? So yan yung magiging sagot natin sa first na question natin kanina na intervals. So remember that Fahrenheit and water, they have Fahrenheit ay mayroong 180 degrees interval and Celsius naman ay 100. Since we're converting Fahrenheit into Celsius, we also need to divide their intervals. So 180 divided by 100, makukuha natin yung 1.8. Eh sir, bakit 9/5 na? Okay, so ginawa na siyang 9/5 para mas maging maganda yung formula natin. Alright? So let's substitute now the given into the formula. So we will get 9/5. Multiplied by 37 plus 32. So guys, that's your mga problem na yan, always din yung femtas school natin. Alright? So wala ng 9/5 kasi baka maguluhan lang tayo pag nag-perform tayo ng operation. So 9/5 will get 1.8 at multiply 37. So 66.6 plus 32 equals to 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Ayan. So therefore, the normal human body temperature in degrees Celsius, in degrees Fahrenheit is 98.6.
Okay, so ayan, pwedeng i-screenshot ng ating mga learners yung solution tapos pag-aralan nila mamaya, no? Kasi we're really running out of time. Okay, ngayon naman sir, how are we going to convert degree Fahrenheit to degree Celsius?
Alright.
Yes, ito muna, degree Celsius to Kelvin.
Okay, like the previous example din natin, ma'am, ganun din ang gagawin natin. Okay, we will be utilizing same formula and just we need to substitute the given, which is the 29.1 37 degrees Celsius dun sa ating formula. Okay, then we will perform again the operation and we will get O yan, so 310.15 Kelvin. So yun yung magiging sagot natin.
Yes, very easy. Mag-add lang tayo ng 273.15. Okay, now how about degree Fahrenheit to degree Celsius naman? Okay, let's go to the next. Degree Fahrenheit to degree Celsius. Next slide tayo, sir. Ayan.
Okay. So this time, okay, so same ano lang din ma'am ang gagawin natin. Okay, so first is determine yung given natin, which is 29.1 degrees Celsius, and isa-substitute lang natin dun sa formula natin kanina, which is yung 9/5 times the degree Celsius plus 32. So we perform the operation again. Okay. Magkukuha na natin yung 84.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ayan, screenshot nyo na mga learners yung ating solution para mapag-aralan pa ninyo later on. Okay, so let's take one question, sir. Mabilisan lang para sa ating mga learners. Para naman may i-comment sila. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, yes, Sir Ryan.
Yeah, so let's have a learning check. So pizza is baked at 235 degrees Celsius. So what is that in degrees Fahrenheit? So learners, get ready to solve for your answer and comment nyo na sa ating comment section. Okay, Ma'am Rio. Pakitignan niya natin ang comment section natin kung meron ng mga learners na nakasagot.
Okay, habang tinitingnan ni Ma'am Rio ang comment section, ayan, meron na ba ma'am? May correct answer na tayo?
Wala pa, Ma'am
sumagot.
Rosel eh.
Okay,
Oo, wala pa.
sige, habang nagsosolve sila, did you know that the highest temperature recorded in the Philippines is 42.2 degrees Celsius at yan ay sa Tuguegarao City. So that is during May 11, 1969, 42.2 degrees Celsius. Oh, napakainit
Sir
na.
Ryan, medyo siguro yung connection mo kasi nagpuputol-putol yung sinasabi mo, ano?
Nagpuputol. Okay na ba, ma'am?
Yes. May mga sagot na tayo sa comment section. Tingnan natin. Sabi ni Gerson Marinay C. Sabi ni John Mark A. Ayan. So, paki-check naman, sir. Ano nga ba ang tamang sagot?
Okay. So, ang magiging sagot natin ay letter A. Okay. 455 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, so the correct answer is letter A. So congratulations, madaming nakakuha sa ating problem. Madaming nag-comment ng A. Congratulations sa inyong lahat. Okay, this time, after the solving of problems, let us see naman, ano nga ba yung mga iba't ibang effects of heat? Okay, take it away, Ma'am Rio.
Yes, thank you, Ma'am Rosel. So napaka-hot at naglalagablab ang topic natin today, ano? Din ng mga ating mga learning facilitator. So sorry kanina kasi nawala ako, ano? Pinaghandaan ko talaga tong araw na to. Tignan nyo naman, nakabakuna top ako ngayon. Halata naman sa aking top, diba? Now, ayan. So Ma'am Rosel already discussed the difference between temperature and the heat. And then Sir Ryan naman discussed about the three temperature scales. Now, ngayon naman, sa application naman tayo. What are the effects of heat? Ano nga ba ang epekto ng heat? Okay. Sa ating buhay. Now, there are two effects of heat that I will we'll be discussing to you the phase changes and thermal expansion. So all chemical reactions involve the transfer of energy. So we could classify reactions either as endothermic or exothermic. So yung word na thermic or root word refers to heat, endo means inside, and exo means outside. So that means that endothermic, ang ibig sabihin nun, this is a reaction wherein heat is being absorbed. While exothermic, ito naman yung reaction wherein heat is being released. Okay, so may tinatawag din tayong thermoneutral process. So it is one that neither requires heat from the surroundings nor gives off energy, kaya nga tinawag na neutral. So by the way, you already know that there are 4 states of matter in the universe: plasma, gas, liquid, and solid. But matter on Earth exists mostly in 3 distinct phases. Tatlo lang yan: gas, liquid, and solid. So a phase is a distinctive form of a substance, and matter can change among the phases. So may tinatawag na tayong phase changes kasi nga epekto yan ng heat na nararanasan here on Earth. So it may take extreme temperature, pressure, or energy, but all matter can be changed. So by the way, there are 6 distinct changes at hindi na ito bago sa inyo, our dear learners. Okay? Una dyan yung freezing, melting, condensation, vaporization, and sublimation. So unahin natin ang melting. Okay. So melting, phase change from a solid to liquid. So when heat is absorbed, for example, ayan, dyan sa ating screen, yung ice cream, okay, during hot summer day, nagme-melt yung ice cream, napakabilis, di ba? Kasi nga, that ice cream absorb heat energy from its surrounding. That is why, yung mga molecules ng ice cream na yon speed up and then it move farther apart. So, melting is an example of endothermic reaction kasi nga nag-a-absorb siya ng heat energy. So maraming examples dyan ng melting. Okay? So let's proceed now to freezing. The next phase change is freezing. So reverse lang siya ng melting. Freezing naman, it is a phase transition where a liquid turns into a solid when its temperature is lowered. Okay. So a perfect example dyan is when our mother, diba, makes ice, nilalagay sa freezer. After a while, from water, naging ice. Okay. Now, did you know that, our dear learners, according sa nabasa kong magazine, okay, we've all been taught that water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit or in Celsius is 0 degrees. But that's not always the case. Okay, though scientists have found liquid water as cold as negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit in clouds and even cooled water down to negative 42 degrees Fahrenheit in the lab. Okay, next phase tayo, which is boiling or vaporization. Okay, so eto naman, phase change from a liquid to gas. And it occurs at the boiling point of water. So bakit ba nagbo-boil ang isang substance? It is because the system absorb heat energy. That is why, syempre, yung mga molecules ng substance na yon will speed up, magbubungguan, and move farther apart. So boiling occurs very rapidly and is a fast process. I have a question. Okay, dear learners, paki-comment yung anyong answer. Where does water boil faster? In Baguio or in Manila? Okay. So, babasahin ko mamaya yung mga nag-comment, ano? So, sasabihin ko na lang. Okay. So, there is a direct relationship between the atmospheric pressure and the boiling point. So, kapag high atmospheric pressure, high boiling point din. Kapag low, syempre, low boiling point. And then there is an inverse naman relationship between the atmospheric pressure and the altitude of the place. So kapag yung place ay located in a high altitude, low atmospheric pressure ang meron doon. While kung matatagpuan sa low altitude, high atmospheric pressure naman siya. Since Baguio is a place which is located, which is a high place, there is a low atmospheric pressure. Since Manila naman is in a lower place, lower than Baguio, there is at high atmospheric pressure. Therefore, okay, dear learners, water boils faster in Baguio. Since Baguio has a lower atmospheric pressure, it also has a lower boiling point than in Manila. So kaya kahit nag-start kayo mag-boil at the same time, mas maunang kukulo yung pinakuluan nyo sa Baguio. Yan. Now, let's proceed to evaporation. So evaporation naman, a phase change from a liquid to a gas on the surface of a liquid. So dito, during evaporation, the substance, absorbs heat energy. Therefore, it is endothermic. So, habang nainitan ng substance, nag-speed up ang mga molecules and move farther apart. So, common examples dyan, kung bakit nadadry yung clothes ninyo under the sun, diba? Yung nagme-melt yung ice cubes, okay? And then, marami pang iba. And the evaporation also of sweat from our body. Now, let's move to condensation. Okay, condensation naman, it is a phase change from a gas to a liquid. Okay, so dito naman, it releases heat energy. Ibig sabihin, it is exothermic. So, water molecules in the air cool and slow down. Their attractions overcome their speed. Ayan, syempre, kapag nag-cool down yung air, tawag dito, yung speed ay hindi na ganun ka bilis. That's why they join together, forming liquid water. Okay, so this is the process of condensation. So kung makikita nyo, minsan, early in the morning, may mga dew forms sa grass, di ba? Also, yung struggle na sinasabi nung iba na dito dahil sa ating face mask, lalo na yung mga naka-eyeglasses, okay, the fogging of eyeglasses fogging up when you enter a warm building on a cold winter day. So, malamig sa surroundings, and then yung ibinubuga mong hangin from your mouth is mainit. So, nagfa-fog yung eyeglasses. Okay, and let's proceed now to our last phase change, which is sublimation. So, sublimation naman, okay, it is a conversion of a substance from the solid to the gaseous state without its becoming liquid. So, ang tawag dito, directly siya from solid to gas, agad-agad. Okay. So, dito na naman, sublimation is a process wherein the substance or the system absorbs heat energy. Therefore, it is endothermic. So, for those of us interested in the water cycle, Okay, sublimation is most often used to describe the process of snow and ice changing into water vapor in the air without first melting into water. So yung dito, mga room refresheners, okay, which are used in toilet, 'di ba? After some time nawawala. So from solid, okay, it directly turns into gas. Also yung mga nilalagay ng ating mga magulang sa mga cabinet, aparador, sa mga closet natin na yung bilog, that is what we call mothballs, 'di ba? Nagsasablime siya because yung mothballs na yon, okay, nag-convert into gas without passing its liquid state. Okay, now, dito tayo sa deposition. Okay, last na to. So, deposition naman, it is the reverse of sublimation. Okay, so deposition is the phase transition in which gas transforms into solid without passing through the liquid phase. So, deposition gives off heat. Thus, it is an exothermic process. So, the most typical example of deposition would be frost, but we do not experience this kind of phenomena, no? Nagpo-frost yung sa labas kasi nga dito tayo sa tropical country. So, frost is the deposition of water vapor from humid air of air containing water vapor onto a solid surface. So, na-experience ito ng mga winter na season. Okay? So, yun, solid frost is formed on a surface, for example, sa leaf. Kita nyo naman ito siguro sa mga movies, is at temperature lower than the freezing point of water, the surrounding air is humid. So, nagkakaroon agad siya ng frost without passing yung liquid phase. So, ayan. So, napag-aralan na natin yung 7 phase changes. And now, let's proceed to the last effect of heat, which is thermal expansion. Okay, so thermal expansion, it is the change in size or volume of an object with change in temperature. So clearly, our dear learners, thermal expansion is clearly related to temperature change. So habang umiinit, okay, yung surrounding ng system na yon, okay, habang nag-i-increase ng temperature, nag-e-expand yung system. Now, what is the underlying cause of thermal expansion? Bakit ba nag-e-expand? Bakit ang mga object? Okay. So, as is discussed in kinetic theory, okay, an increase in temperature habang umiinit implies an increase in the kinetic energy. So, yung mga molecules, they gain kinetic energy. Okay? Which means, nagbubungguan and they will move further apart from each other. So, ayan. So, maraming mga application ang thermal expansion. Hindi ba, Ma'am Rosel and Sir Ryan?
Yes, ma'am. Tama ka dyan. So, one example nga ay yung nakikita natin sa ating screen ngayon, no? So, nakikita natin yan sa daan, di ba? Ano nga ba yung gamit niyan, Ma'am Rio?
Okay, so, sa ating mga bridges, okay, may mga, yung mga engineers, naglalagay sila ng span dyan para, o yung mga expansion joints na tinatawag, para once na hindi naman ang weather natin ay pabago-bago ang weather. That is why naglagay sila ng expansion joints dyan. Kaya once na these materials ang tawag dito, will experience hot weather.
When heated, yes.
Oo, okay, yes. It will expand kasi, okay?
Yes.
Para maiwasan yung pagbungguan nitong mga to once na nag-expand. To avoid this, expansion joints, okay, are designed into the bridge so that the bridge sections can expand freely without buckling. So, to avoid buckle. Okay, isa pa dyan yung once na sa air also, 'di ba? Nag-expand din yung sa ating sa gas, 'di ba? Kaya yung mga may mga car, 'di ba, Ma'am Rosel, like you, once na ang tawag dito, nagpalagay ka ng hangin sa gulong mo, hindi sagad, ano? Kasi once na the air
Yes,
on your
ma'am.
tire gets warm after a long journey,
Yes,
nag-i-increase
after
yung
a long
pressure.
drive. Yes. At kapag hindi na makaya ng tire, ma'am, puputok na siya. So, it's not really
Yes,
good.
opo.
Okay, so yan nga, Ma'am Rio, ang effects of heat. Napakalinaw ng discussion ni Ma'am Rio. So we have the effects of heat or thermal expansion, and we have also the phase changes. Ngayon naman, mga ma'am and sir, let's summarize our topic for today. Ano nga ba yung mga important points na kailangan at dapat tandaan ng ating mga learners? Okay, let's proceed to our next slide. Ito po yung summary ng ating lesson. Learners, take a look of this and then screenshot. Ito na yung pinakamahalagang details ng ating lesson for today. So first is, heat is the thermal energy transferred from one object to another, and it is also the measure of the change in internal energy of an object. While temperature is a measure of the degree of hotness or coldness of an object, and it measures the average kinetic energy of the particle of an object. So that is the two things you need to remember between heat and temperature. How about the temperature scale, Sir Ryan?
Mute. Nakamute ka, Sir Ryan.
Okay, so yun nga. Thanks for reminding me, Ma'am Rosel and Ma'am Rio. So mga dear learners, wag nyo rin kakalimutan yung 3 temperature scales. So ito yung Celsius, Fahrenheit, and Kelvin. And si Under Celsius introduced the Celsius scale in 1741, while Daniel Gabriel Fahrenheit introduced the Fahrenheit scale in 1724.
Okay. And for the last part, ayan, yung ating effects of heat. There's examples of the effect of heat, which are phase changes and thermal expansion.
Okay, ayan nga ang ating discussion. Learners, we hope na nakatulong ang ating live discussion para makagain ng at least konting information to answer your modules. Okay, ano naman ang dapat abangan natin next week, Sir Ryan, before we end this?
So yun nga, ma'am. So next week, abangan nyo naman kami muli sa nag-iisang Pepe sa our dance video lamang. At syempre, abangan nyo ang ating week 4, which is all about electricity. So syempre, kailangan natin dalhin ang ating mga modules ulit para mas maging easy at maging soft lamang ang ating discussion sa cafe.
Also, don't forget, dear learners, yung inyong weekly validating questions. Please answer those questions. Ayun. Na nakatulong sa ang live discussions na ito to answer. Okay. For answering your validating questions.
Okay, salamat sa pakikinig sa inyong lahat. Thank you sa ating 65 viewers na hanggang ngayon ay nakikinig. Thank you very much. And before we end this, sabay-sabay natin mga teachers na sabihin ang ating official hashtag for today. Everybody.
Hashtag
Sensibilidad.
Sensibilidad.
Okay, thank you so much also. We behind the scene, our technical specialists. Bye-bye.
Bye! Thank you!
Physics, chemistry, earth science, biology, biochemistry, environmental science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is the way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity and how the world develops and works today. Science. This is your class, and this is science. And now, here is your host for the day. Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kaalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan, ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
For something big. Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWDR-FM.
Kaibigan, alam mo na ba kung anong dapat gawin upang iwasan at sugpuin ang COVID-19? Iwasang hawakan ang bibig, mata at ilong. Laging maghugas ng kamay gamit ang sabon at tubig sa loob ng 20 segundo. Linisin ang mga bagay na palaging hinahawakan. Kumain ng balanse at masusustansyang pagkain. Matulog ng sapat, huwag magpupuyat. Stay home. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin. Nasistress ka na ba? Nagpapanik o natatakot dahil sa COVID-19? Normal lang ang ganitong mga reaksyon sa ngayon. Pero may magagawa ka para mapagtagumpayan ang sitwasyon na ito. Ituloy lang ang pangangamusta sa mga kamag-anak at kaibigan gamit ang text, tawag o video. Tiyakin na ang mga bata ay ligtas at nasa maayos na kalagayan. Gawin sa bahay ang mga nakasanayan upang hindi mabagot o mabalisa sa panahong ito. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin. Kaibigan, huwag ka na munang lumabas ng inyong bahay, maliban na lang kung bibili ng pagkain o may emergency. Tandaan ang mga sumusunod. Kung kailangang lumabas ng bahay, magsuot ng mask. Siguruhing may 1 metro ang layo sa ibang tao. Magdala lagi ng alcohol o alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Huwag hawakan ang iyong mukha. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin.
Ang COVID-19 ay isang bagong impeksyon na mas malubha para sa ilang matatanda. Malamang na napansin mo na nagbabago ang mga bagay-bagay dahil dito. Saan ka man nakatira, nais mong makita ang iyong pamilya at mga kaibigan ng madalas hanggat makakaya mo at nais mong maiwasan ng COVID-19. Magagawa mo ito sa pamamagitan ng pagsasagawa ng wastong kalinisan at pisikal na pagdistansya, pagbabakuna sa trangkaso at pag-uulat kaagad ng anumang mga sintomas. Kapag naiintindihan mo na kung paano kumakalat ang virus, maaari mong baguhin ang iyong pag-uugali upang pabagalin ang pagkalat. Tumutulong ito upang mapanatili kang ligtas laban sa COVID-19. Maaari kang magkaroon ng COVID-19 kung ikaw ay may malapit na pisikal na ugnayan sa isang tao na may virus. Ang isang tao na may virus ay umubo o bumahing at ang kanilang mikrobyo ay umabot sa iyo. Hinipo mo ang iyong bibig o mukha matapos hawakan ng isang bagay na hinipo ng isang nahawahang tao, tulad ng hawakan ng pinto. Narito ang ilang paraan para protektahan ang iyong sarili at ang iba laban sa COVID-19. Ang wastong kalinisan ay tutulong pigilan ang pagkalat ng COVID-19, kaya't hugasan ang iyong mga kamay gamit ng sabon o sanitizer. Gamitin ang singit ng iyong siko upang takpan ang iyong pag-ubo o pagbahing. Disimpektahin ang mga bagay na madalas mong hawakan at huwag hipuin ang iyong mukha. Ang pisikal na pagdistansya ay nakakatulong din. Ibig sabihin nito ay makikipagkita ka sa mas kaunting mga tao ng mas madalang at sandali lamang. Panatilihin ang hindi bababa sa 1.5 metrong layo sa iba at iwasan ang pagyakap, paghalik at pakikipagkamay. Magpabakuna sa trangkaso upang manatiling malusog. Hindi nito pinipigilan ng COVID-19, ngunit pinoprotektahan ka nito laban sa trangkaso na isa ring malubhang sakit. Kung mayroon kang alinman sa mga sintomas na ito, makipag-usap ka agad sa iyong tagapag-alaga o doktor upang masuri ka para sa COVID-19. Kung ikaw ay may sakit, maingat kang aalagaan. Maaring hilingin sa iyong manatili at magpahinga sa iyong silid nang nakahiwalay sa iba. Huwag maalarma kung ang iyong mga tagapag-alaga ay may suot na mask o iba pang natatanging kausuotan. Sila ay sumusunod sa payo na manatiling ligtas at pigilan ang pagkalat. Magagawa mo ito sa pamamagitan ng pagsasagawa ng wastong kalinisan at pisikal na pagdistansya, pagbabakuna sa trangkaso at pag-uulat kaagad ng anumang mga sintomas. Maaari kang manatiling ligtas kung gagawin mo ang iyong tungkulin. Kung sama-sama, mababawasan nating lahat ang panganib ng COVID-19.
Habang ang mundo ay lumalaban sa banta ng COVID-19 o coronavirus, mayroon iba't ibang paraan upang makatulong sa paglaban nito. Number 1. Iwasan ang matataong lugar. Number 2. Dumistansya ng kahit 1 metro mula sa mga may sintomas. Number 3. Laging magtakip ng bibig kapag ikay umuubo. Gumamit ng tissue o ang pagitan ng iyong braso at itapon agad ang ginamit na tissue sa basurahan. Number 4. Iwasan ang paghawak sa bibig at ilong. Number 5. Magsuot ng face mask kapag ikaw ay may lagnat, ubo at sipon. Number 6. Ugaliing maghugas ng kamay gamit ang malinis na tubig at sabon. Number 7. Ugaliin ding magdala at gumamit ng alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Kapag ikaw ay nakakadama ng sintomas tulad ng lagnat, ubo, sipon at hirap sa paghinga, agad na magtungo sa pinakamalapit na ospital o tumawag sa mga hotline na ito.
Ang COVID-19 ay isang nakahahawang sakit na sanhi ng bagong coronavirus na ngayon palang nakita sa mga tao. Ito ay pangunahing na ikakalat ng tao sa pamamagitan ng mga droplet mula sa taong may sakit kapag siya'y magsasalita, uubo o babahing. Ang mga droplet na ito ay maaaring pumunta sa mga bibig o ilong ng mga taong malapit sa kanya. Masyadong mabigat ang mga droplet na ito upang maglakbay ng malayo sa hangin. Umaabot ng hanggang 1 metro ang pagtalsik nito at kaagad na mananatili sa ibabaw ng mga bagay. Ito ang dahilan kaya ang pagkahawa ng tao sa tao ay kadalas ay nangyayari sa pagitan ng mga close contact. Hindi pa alam ang eksaktong oras na nabubuhay ang virus sa mga bagay. Kaya mainam na palagi ang linisin ng mga gamit lalo na sa paligid ng taong may COVID-19. Ang mga kamay ay maaaring kontaminado ng virus lalo't marami itong hinahawakang mga bagay. Kaya iwasan ang paghawak ng mata, ilong at bibig dahil maaaring lumipat ang virus sa iyo sa pamamagitan ng kontaminadong kamay. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ng bibig at ilong gamit ang looban ng siko o gumamit ng tissue. Pagkatapos gamitin ang tissue, itapon ka agad sa basurahang may takip. Ang madalas na paglilinis ng kamay gamit ang hand sanitizer na may alkohol o sabon at tubig ang pinaka-epektibong paraan upang maiwasan ang bagong coronavirus. Matatagal nito ang virus kung ito'y nasa kamay mo. Manatiling malusog at iwasan ang pagkalat ng COVID-19.
Para labanan ang banta ng COVID-19 sa ating bansa, mahalaga ang kooperasyon ng bawat isa. Ang pananatili sa loob ng bahay ay isa sa pinakasimple pero pinaka-epektibong paraan para hindi kumalat ang virus. Kunwari, ikaw ang tuldok na ito. Malusog ka at malakas. Lumabas ka ng bahay. Ang hindi mo alam, may nakasalamuha ka ng may COVID-19. Tandaan, mahirap malaman kung sino ang may virus, pero madali itong maipasa sa iba. Pwedeng naipasa na pala niya ang virus sa iyo nung umubo siya, o bumahing. O baka naman ay nahawa na dahil humawa kayo sa parehong bagay na kontaminado. Ngayon ay mayroon ka na ring COVID-19. Isa ka ng carrier na makakahawa sa iba. Dahil maaaring ilang araw pa bago lumitaw ang sintomas na ubo, sipon, hirap sa paghinga at lagnat. Pwede ring wala kang nararamdamang sintomas, ngunit nakakahawa ka pa rin. Pag-uwi mo sa bahay, maaari mong mahawahan ang iyong pamilya. Kasama na rito ang lolo at lola mo, o ang mga magulang mo na may edad. Sila ang may pinakamahina na depensa laban sa virus. Ang mga may sakit sa puso, diabetes, high blood, at iba pang pre-existing conditions at mga buntis, mahina ang panlaban sa COVID-19. Kapag na-infect ang taong mahina ang immune system, posibleng magkaroon siya ng malalang karamdaman at kailanganing dalhin sa ospital. Sa patuloy na paglabas ng bahay at pagpunta sa pampublikong lugar, tinatayang maaari kang makahawa ng 3 pang tao at sila makakahawa ng mas marami pang iba. 20% ng mga nahawa ay maaaring maospital at dadami ng dadami ito habang mas kumakalat pa ang virus. Bukod sa dumaraming COVID-19 patients, marami pang ibang may sakit ang nasa mga pagamutan. Ang mga pasyenteng malubhang-malubha na ang karamdaman, hindi na maaasikaso. Wala ring lugar para sa mga pasyenteng may ibang karamdaman. Kaya nating iwasan ang patuloy na pagkalat ng COVID-19 kung iisipin natin ang kapakanan ng iba. Kailangan nating isipin at kumilos na parang bitbit na natin ang virus para hindi ito kumalat pa sa iba. Sundin ang social distancing. At hanggat maaari, manatili sa loob ng bahay. Kung talagang kinakailangang lumabas, panatilihin ang 1 metrong layo sa ibang tao. Maging malinis din sa katawan at sa kapaligiran. Parating maghugas ng kamay gamit ang sabon at tubig. At i-disinfect ang mga bagay na madalas hinahawakan. Ang mahalaga, mapabagal natin ang pagkalat ng COVID-19 para mas kakaunti ang mga kailangang magpa-ospital at mabawasan ang mga Pilipinong magkakasakit. Magiging epektibo lamang ito kung mananatili tayo sa bahay. Sundin ang social distancing. Isang maliit na sakripisyo para sa buhay ng kapwa nating Pilipino. Tulong-tulong tayo. Let's beat COVID-19.
Kaibigan, alam mo na ba kung anong dapat gawin upang iwasan at sumpuin ang COVID-19? Ang COVID ay isang nakakahawang sakit na dulot ng bagong virus. Sumasama ito sa talsik ng laway kapag nagsalita, bumahing, o umubo ang taong may COVID-19. Kapag ang droplets na ito ay naiwan sa mga madalas hawakan na bagay, maaari itong pumasok sa ating bibig, ilong, o mata. Maaari tayong mahawa rito. Wala pang bakuna o gamot dito, kaya mahalagang maiwasan ito. Paano? Ganito. Iwasang hawakan ng bibig, mata, at ilong. Laging maghugas ng kamay gamit ang sabon at tubig sa loob ng 20 segundo at tuyuin gamit ang malinis na tissue o tuwalya. Linisin ang mga bagay na palaging hinahawakan tulad ng mga doorknob at switch ng ilaw. Kumain ng balanse at masusustansyang pagkain. Matulog ng sapat huwag magpupuyat. Stay home. Pero kung kailangang lumabas, magsuot ng face mask. Siguruhing 1 metro ang layo sa ibang tao at magdala lagi ng alkohol o hand sanitizer. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin.
Masusing pinaghahandaan ang clinical trials para sa COVID-19 vaccine sa ating bansa. Kasabay nito, ang pagsisikap natin na maibahagi sa mga tao ang tamang impormasyon ukol sa clinical trials. Isa sa mga serye ng ating explainer videos para sa clinical trials, aming ipinaliwanag kung paano nga ba gumagana ang bakuna. Kung di nyo pa ito napapanood, maaari nyo itong panoorin sa link na ito. Ngayon naman, aming ipapaliwanag kung ano ang iba't ibang uri ng bakuna kontra COVID-19. Mayroong iba't ibang uri ng bakuna base sa paraan ng pagbibigay ng proteksyon laban sa sakit na COVID-19. Ang tradisyonal o tinatawag na proven and tested na uri ay ang inactivated vaccine na ginagamit sa bakuna ng polio, hepatitis A at maging sa rabies. Ang bakunang ito ay gawa sa inactivated o patay na kopya ng virus na siyang tutulong sa ating immune system na magkaroon ng resistensya laban sa sakit. Ang uri ng teknolohiyang ito ang siya ring ginagamit ng mga pharmaceutical companies gaya ng Sinopharm, Sinovac at ng Bharat Pharmaceuticals para sa pagdevelop ng kanilang bakuna laban sa COVID-19. Life-attenuated na uri ng bakuna naman ay gumagamit naman ng buhay, subalit pinahinang bersyon ng virus. Sa kabila nito, ito ay sinisiguradong ligtas, hindi magdudulot ng sakit, at magagamit upang magkaroon ng proteksyon ng katawan laban sa sakit. Ang nucleic acid-based na uri ng bakuna naman ay kumukuha ng RNA o DNA ng virus para makagawa ng ligtas na viral protein na siyang makapagbibigay ng immunity o proteksyon sa cells ng ating katawan. Halimbawa ng mga bakunang gumamit ng teknolohiyang ito laban sa COVID-19 ay ang galing sa Moderna, Pfizer-BioNTech, Arcturus Therapeutics at Inovio Pharmaceuticals. Ang protein-based na uri ng bakuna naman ay gumagamit ng protein structure o ang material na bumabalot at nagsisilbing outer shell sa virus na nagdadala ng COVID-19. Kapag nabakunahan, nakikilala ng ating immune system ang bagong klaseng protein na ito at agad na gumagawa ng antibodies laban dito. Sakali bang may makapasok na virus taglay ang kaparehong protein na ginamit sa bakuna, maliit na ang tsansa na magkasakit dahil kaya nang gumawa ng antibodies na siyang poprotekta sa ating katawan laban dito. Ito ang teknolohiyang ginamit para sa mga bakuna mula sa Novavax Incorporated, Clover Biopharmaceuticals, Vaccine Proprietary Limited, Anwick Geoffrey Longcom Biopharma Company, Adimmune Corporation, at iba pa. Ang viral vector ay ang pinahinang bersyon ng buhay na virus na hindi kapareho ng SARS-CoV-2. Ngunit may taglay na genetic material galing dito. Kapag nabakunahan, ang vector na ito ay nagbibigay ng instructions o mga tagubilin sa ating cells na gumawa ng kopya ng protein ng virus na nagdudulot ng COVID-19. Ito ang nag-uudyok sa ating katawan na gumawa ng immune cells na siyang makakaalala kung paano lalabanan ng virus sakaling ito ay makapasok sa ating katawan. Ang teknolohiyang ito ang ginamit para sa mga bakunang mula sa AstraZeneca, CanSino Biologics, Gamaleya Research Institute, Janssen Pharmaceuticals, at iba pa. Patuloy tayong maging maalam at mapagmatsyag. Abangan ang iba pa naming updates tungkol sa COVID-19 vaccine trials sa official channels ng Department of Health at Department of Science and Technology. Rest Bakuna, kasangganang bida! Sama-sama tayo sa Bida Vaccination!
Tamang paraan ng paghuhugas ng kamay. Ang wasto at regular na paghuhugas ng kamay ay mabisang paraan upang makaiwas sa mga sakit. Ito ay makatutulong sa pagpigil ng pagkalat ng virus na nagdudulot ng sakit. Una, basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Ikalawa, sabunin ang mga palad. Ikatlo, sabunin ang likod ng mga kamay. Sumunod, kuskusin ang mga pagitan ng daliri. Ikalima, kuskusin ang mga kuko. Ika-anim, kuskusin ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki. Pagkatapos, kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. At panghuli, banlawang mabuti sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Todo laban kontra Coronavirus Disease 2019.
Vaccine ay nandito na, panlaban kay corona, virus na di mo nakikita. Aba, wag ka nang mag-alinlangan, bakuna ay iyong subukan. Oh. Libre to, masusi na pinag-aralan, ligtas to. Sa vaccine protektado ka, lalakas ang iyong resistensya. Huwag nang mangamba, tarang magpalista. Oh, vaccine ay nandito na, panlaban kay corona virus na di mo nakikita. Oh, sumunod sa protocol, gumamit ng alcohol, umagwat sa katabi, pag may symptoms magsasabi. Mga okasyo'y di na pinagdiwang, kasal at birthday ay pinagpaliban. Whoa, oh. Whoa, oh. Mga negosyong may puhunan, nalugi sa pandemyang kalaban. Whoa, oh. Whoa, oh. Pulisiya ay ating sundin, maghugas ng kamay at distancing, pagsuot ng mask, face shield ay gamitin. Oh, vaccine ay nandito na, panlaban kay corona virus na di mo nakikita. Oh, sumunod sa protocol, gumamit ng alcohol, umagwat sa katabi, pag may symptoms magsasabi. Oh, vaccine ay nandito na, panlaban kay corona virus na di mo nakikita. Oh, sumunod sa protocol, gumamit ng alcohol, umagwat sa katabi,